What's going on, everyone? This is just going to be a quick little raw video because I wanted to go over the 9:30 sequence of these two trades that I took from, you could say, last week, because it's Saturday now for me, from Thursday and Friday. So I just wanted to go over price and explain what happened within these days for me to take these trades. You can see here I took this trade on 2 fundeds, and then I took this on an eval, and then on Friday we had the rebalance displacement. I took that on one of the fundeds. But anyways, so let me get to like around 9:25 real quick. So typically I like to hop on the charts around 9:25ish. Here we are, play price through. Let me actually go a little bit more. So this is like a completely raw video, so I'm going to try my best to go over price and just basically what happened, and just some sort of a recap is basically what I'm going for with this video. So here's 9:25. So this is around when I'm hopping on the chart. So at this point, I start around on the 4 hour to 1 hour, and I try to see what price is doing overall. So zooming out on both pairs here, I can see that we do have this draw that price is heading towards on NQ and ES as well, and I think this isn't updating. Yeah, so I'm just going to close ES because it's weird on bar replay. So we can see at the time ES hasn't reached this low and NQ hasn't reached this low. So already it's making me lean more towards bearish than bullish. Then we look at the 15-minute too. We can see here that this big wick has rebalanced into this general range here, and this could be classed as PXL for us. So hopping on the 1 minute, you can see that we have the move up into this PXL zone, and now we're displacing off of it. And after we have this big displacement move down of about 50 points to here, we leave behind the sell side. Another important thing to note is that this was an SMT at the time too. So if we mark this out here, this is an SMT. So here's our manipulation. And then you can see with these candles, we come down, we have our displacement. And then what do we leave behind here? We leave behind a continuation PDO, which is our SIBI. So we leave our SIBI here, and then we also have an order block by definition over here. It isn't off of manipulation, so I don't like to use these as reversals, but they are really good PDRs to look at when we're in the middle of a range, not in ultimate premium or discount. When we're in the middle of a range, it's a really good PDR to see it get ran through, because usually these get made to rebalance to go lower. But if they're off of manipulation, they get made to have reversals, like over here. We're coming up, we have the SMT, order block, and then we have to move down. So we have the order block created there. So I go to the next candle here, 9:26, it's still telling me nothing. Keep in mind I hopped on the charts at 9:25. Now I'm just waiting for some sort of structure, something to build. So here we have this movement below this low here. At the time I was actually looking to enter here, I believe, like discretion wise and whatnot, but we didn't have nice body closure below the low. So this could be classed as turtle soup here. Okay, so I don't know if this next candle is going to continue lower, or if it's going to make this order block and come back up higher. And I would like to show you on AS, but it's being weird right now. So let's go to the next candle now. So this makes the order block again, and we have it off the turtle soup. So this could actually be something that can give us a reversal to go higher. And what we do get is the move up, but I want to show you guys what happens in move up. So here is 9:28, we play the next candle again now. So here we have 9:29. And we can see that this 9:29 comes up and has this huge rejection wick. We have no volume going to the upside whatsoever. On the 1 minute, this just looks like a big wick. But if you were to scale down to the 10-second, for example, it would look like this. Okay? And something else that's really important to note is that we tapped into the sell side. And also, at the time, we had an SMT within this wick, within the sell side of it. So if we have this SMT within the sell side, and we have an order block here, and then we're failing the order block. At the time, I had sat my micro order on the second this candle was like 5 seconds away from closing, just based off of this rejection, because I can see here the sequence that's playing out. We have the rebalance into this PXL over here, we have the SMT, we have the displacement lower, and then we have the rebalance into the SIBI here. Sure with you, okay? But then when we come down again, I want to see what happens past this low, because that is what's stopping price from going lower, because it's a draw. So we can soup this to go higher, And what we done was we souped it to go higher, to rebalance, to continue lower. So if I put my trade on here, for example, and have my stop loss above the rebalance there, you can be targeting either the first low, or like I did, because the draw's so far and it's 9:30, you can anticipate a lot of volatility to come in. So I was targeting somewhere around 50 points for close to a free risk to reward like this. You put your shorts on here, and you have your stop above the manipulation, and you TP lower. And this plays out in 1 to 2 candles. One candle there. You can see how fast that plays out. It's a very, very high win rate model if you have the checklist here. We have the PXL here. We have the manipulation here. The displacement lower. The rebalance. The respect of a continuation PD array. The disrespect of a reversal PD array. What's stopping price from going higher here? This order block. What's happening in the order block? Oh, I don't want to confuse you too much, but if I hop on the 10 second here, can I? I can't, because I don't have the premium planner trading view, because I don't trade with trading view. If you were to hop on the 10 second, you would see that this 1 minute candle is a big rejection wick, but on the low time frame it will look something like this, because we have the move up, and then price is fractal, yeah. So the same model that's presenting on the 1 hour, we're going to see on the 1 minute, we're going to see on the 10 second, and we're going to see the, how do I say it? I'm going really technical, but this is the way I look at the market, and this is what makes sense to me. On the 1 hour, we see here, we just keep having these rebalance displacement moves. We have the draw there, which we haven't reached on each pair yet. Look at the 15 minute here. You can see that with this big wick here, was a rebalance into PXL. And now this candle is running through this order block here. You look at the 5 minute. You can see the same thing. The rebound is higher, displacement. This was a buy side, so that's another confluence. We have a buy side inverse there. Look at the 1 minute. And you can see we're having the exact same model play out on all the different time frames. However, on the low time frame, it can look different before it happens. Because here, we have the SMT, but for us to SMT, we had to go up. So we had price come higher here, right? We had to go up to send price lower. And that's a really good example of what happened in this day as well. I'll go over that now too. So this was the trade I took, and this was the way I have been looking at 9:30 trades recently, and I have backtested it a lot, and I've been liking it a lot. And you could say I've stopped pattern trading time, and more so using it as a confluence. So if we don't have nice price, when we come into market open, for example, I can wait for macro times and use that as a tool, rather than just sticking to it strictly. But this is something that I've started to do after trading the macro times strictly for a long time. But yeah, that's the way I look at it. So I'm gonna go into Friday now. So I don't use this replay mode much. How do I do it? Go leave, replay, start new. Should just be able to do it like this. Okay, I can't show you an ES again, but I'm just gonna make this nice and simple. So hopping on the 1 minute here, we can clearly see that the market is in this trend of coming down, making a high, coming down, coming higher. But then you have to look here. So we've had this big move down, right? And let's say, for example, we have relative equal lows here. So this is a really strong draw on liquidity, and all of this here is low resistance. And right now it looks like we're going up. So this is when I hop on the charts. It looks like we're going up, and on the 1 hour, to me at the time, this looked bullish as well, just because of what price was doing. We were tapping into this CB multiple times, which usually isn't the best signature, but we still haven't closed because there's still, 1 hour left in this candle, or half an hour left in this candle. So what this can look like is price respecting CE and this candle flipping. And that's why you don't just pattern trade what you see on the high time frame, and you let the low time frame confirmate it for you. So looking here, if I mark out this high, which keep in mind is in PXL here. So this is already looking really good, because another thing you can keep in mind is that ES had SMT with that high. So pre 9:30 we have manipulation, okay? Let me mark our manipulation out. Over here, like so. Shit, my timer went off. So I'm actually going to put this in the checklist as well. So pre 9:30 we have our minute SMT, and it's an external SMT, range SMT. So this actually matters. Let me make this bigger too. Okay, we have our SMT, and now what are we doing right now? We're creating this order block. So we have this candle, the up close and the down close. Now, what we want to see here is the respect or disrespect of this order block. So if I were to mark out like this, we have the 0.5 over here, and we have a buy side below. Ideally, we would want to see the buy side get held to come up higher and invalidate the SMT, or we want to see the buy side fail for us to go lower and take out these draws. So it's a really simple concept. You really just have to wait and see what we're doing inside of PD arrays. So if I play out this next candle now, you can see we inverse this buy side. But at the time, this, for me, typically I don't like to enter around 9.27. I prefer 28 to 29. And in my opinion, if you don't catch this here, or this, which I would class as the initial displacement, you shouldn't be entering this, and you should be waiting for the rebalance displacement. So that's what I waited for. And over here, we play the next candle out. We have 9.28. Well, this can trick a lot of people, and if you were to pattern trade order block disrespect, then you would end up logging this. So at the time, when I was in this candle here, and I actually have a recap of it, so if you want to watch it, you can. I was actually leaning more towards bullish just because we were disrespecting the order block here. But then when I looked at ES, I realized we still have the SMT, and we haven't really went past the order block fully. And this here, longing this would be longing in the ultimate top of the range, because something you have to understand is markets move like this. Where's the brush? Markets move like this. Everyone knows what a trend line is. It's the first thing you learn when you get into trading. They move like this, right? They don't do this. Okay? So if you are entering without a proper rebalance or whatever, and you're longing in the ultimate premium or discount of the range, you're just not following how markets move. So if you were to enter something like that with your stop loss there and targeting 100 points just because you want it to go your way, that's not right. So what I did here was wait for the full disrespect or respect of the order block. So I'm going to mark it out again. I'm going to mark it with a rectangle so it's a bit easier to see. Now keeping in mind here, we have actually ran this buy side here. So we have our continuation PD array here, and we ran it. So this could just be a rebalance into the order block to go lower. So I'll play the next candle out now. Okay, and then this 9.29 candle has come into the order block and displaced off it. Now what was this candle here too? Before this candle opened up, this here was a buy side imbalance, because you see it's a big displacement candle. At the time this would have been a gap when this candle is in here. So this candle engulfs this full bullish candle, has this close below this wick here, and then if you zoom in here, you'll see we have ran this buy side now. And this was 9.29, and this was where I slapped my entry on. Because to me, this was perfect. We had everything. We had the SMT within PXL. We had the reversal PD array here, okay? The order block. And we have the continuation PD array below. We have the displacement lower, running this buy side, the rebalance into the reversal PD array. Now just because it's a reversal PD array doesn't mean I'm gonna click short when I'm here, because we can come up past the reversal PD array and then continue past it, or we can do what we've done here. If I mark it out like this is how I would mark the order block here. You can see that we actually came into the 79 of the order block and displaced off of it. So I have about 4 to 5 things backing my trade, when most of the pattern trades that lose are the order block disrespects in the ultimate or premium of the range, ultimate discount or premium of the range. Those are the trades that lose a lot, right? And I've taken those losses before, so I would know. But if you look here, I've got about 5 things backing my trade. I have the manipulation within PXL, and it's before 9:30, okay? That's 1. 2, it's within the high time frame PXL. Okay, that's 2. 3, we have the order block made and the buy side below disrespected. That's 3. And then we have the rebalance into the order block. We have the respect of the order block. We have the inverse of the bullish candle. We have it getting engulfed by a speedy bearish displacement candle. I have way more things back in this trade. We have it getting engulfed by a speedy bearish displacement candle, which would be this 929 candle. And then here we have nice body closure with no wick. This is another very, very good algo signature you can use when there's no wick at the bottom of the displacement candle. We have nice body closure with no wick. One sec. Past the wick of the previous candle. So that's another thing. Over here, we have body closure with no wick past the wick of the previous candle. And the last thing that made it an A++ setup for me, we have another BC inverse here. And you could even class this PXH getting round 2. If you want to class this as PXH, it's a draw in this range, we displaced above it, we rebalanced into it, and we failed it. So you can even class this as PXH getting round 2. So let me delete all these, and if you want to read it, you can just pause or rewatch it. So I put my short entry on here, and I was on an eval, so I was targeting the 1500. But in this trade, what I would have done if I were in it for real, on a funded, and I'm actually just trading, not just going for the 1500, because honestly on evals I do go for 1500. I got my entry somewhere around here. Let me see. 490. Yeah, about there. 490. I would have my stop above the displacement candle, like this. And as soon as we started getting that strong displacement, I will trail to about 50% of this candle, and then eventually to here. Because it's 9:30, so we can expect real nice volatility to send price to where the draw is if we have all of the algo signatures before 9:30. You can't just trade this if you don't have anything before it. And for example, let's say here, let's say for example, this was 929. You can't just be longing this because we have internal manip within the middle of the range and there's an order block and we rebalance into it, displacing higher, and you're like, oh, okay, I want price to go higher. Here, we have external manip, we have rebalance into the big order block and nice displacement, and then 930 cents price. Here, for example, we have the external manip over there, which is in PXL, the SMT, the displacement lower, the rebalance. Like, you have to pick and choose these trades, like these 930 trades, and they can be really, really good if you just backtest them and lock in on them, and they are real high probable setups. So if you were to enter like this, and for example, you can target here, which is guaranteed every time basically. This is low resistance though, so this did end up being the high of the day, I believe, or at least it ran like a few hundred points. But for the sake of it, let's say you get your entry around after the BC inverse, you have your stop there, you get a 1-to-1, 0.8 R 1-to-1, it doesn't matter, it's a difference of about $50 to $100 based on your risk, it really doesn't matter. So you play that out, and you can see, beautiful. Now, I would backtest this if you're going to want to be trading it, because 930 can be very, very volatile, and at the end of the day, this is why we have our stop losses and the risk that you accept. If I got stopped out on this trade on my eval, my risk was about 1,000. It is hefty risk, but it's fine. I would have just taken it on the chin and moved on, because at the end of the day, we're trading with probability, but when you have a strategy and an edge, you have probability on your side. But there's always stop losses, because no one has a 100% win rate. Sure, you can go on green streaks and whatnot, but no one has a 100% win rate, because if that were true, then there would be way more billionaires than there is, and way more millionaires, and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? No one has a 100% win rate. That's why we have stop losses. But what you can do is forward test this, back test it, and then eventually you can start taking on evals, and then when you're confident, you can take it on fundeds. But yeah, I really, really like these setups, and you can see, because we have everything in the checklist happening beforehand, you can see how beautiful this is and how far this runs. And considering that all of this is low resistance here. I'll even explain this setup, this next one, because why not? So the way I look at it is, I want to type this out. You either take the initial displacement after minute, or the displacement after the retracement into a PD array. That's the way I look at it. So, basing price off of this, I would class this the initial displacement after minute, because why? We have the SMT, the order block, the rebalance into the order block, the displacement off it. For me, this would be the initial displacement move. If you miss that, trading anything in here is wrong. Unless you have a nice proper rebalance. Like here, shorting this is just completely wrong because you're only going to get to this low. Because this here is a draw. So let's say you short that off of this BC inverse, or you short this off of this order block disrespect, and then you end up targeting that, or this, or whatever. It's just not valid because we don't have a proper rebalance. Like I said, the market moves in trends. So looking here, like what I drew up before with the bullish example, if you are right here, okay, you're looking at price. This is what you're expecting from price, alright? So we have the minute there, you're expecting this. That just doesn't happen. What does happen is this, so. Let me draw it out here. What does happen is this. Oops. That's what happens. And like, it's very, very simple to just be patient and wait, and it's gonna play out better for you. So looking here, you miss the initial displacement after manip, and let's say you're not comfortable, it's too volatile, whatever. Let's wait for the rebalance. So here, if we mark out the range like this, we can see we have a nice rebalance into the 50% of the range. We have a rebalance into this huge sell side made by the 930 candle. So this would be our continuation PD array. And we have this internal PXL range that you can mark out here. And you can also see that we have a beautiful rejection of a CE of this CB. So we have a nice rejection like that. And now we have this huge displacement candle here. And you can use the same ideology that I said before. If you miss this nice displacement here, and this candle is a whole 44 points, if you don't get your entry off of the initial displacement like this, after this rebalance, you can wait for a rebalance into this candle, because this candle is huge, and majority of the time, when we leave a candle like this back, over here, we rebalance into it and then we continue off it. Like over here, we left behind this huge candle, and we're rebalancing into it now, and we're coming off it. So we have this humongous candle here. If you miss the entry here, like this is valid to take. But it might be too fast, you might miss it. Let's say you miss this, taking a 1-to-1 like that. People would have taken this short, or even if they got their entry here, and they're targeting this, for example. Let's say you miss that. Wait for the rebalance. So let's see what happens. And at the time, ES hadn't reached this low. So the draw is still lower, and it's just looking really good overall, and we still have these draws to be taken out too. So overall, narrative is looking really good. So now we're in 50% of this candle. Let's see what we do. So this next candle wicks up, and we wick up and we touch the 0.62 of the fib. What else are we tapping into? We have a continuation PD array here. So if we have a continuation PD array here, so this is what price will rebalance into to go lower. Okay, I'll say it again, a continuation PD array. And we have a reversal PD array below. Now it's just a waiting game to see whether we do this or this. What else is there to it? We play the next candle. We see we get the big displacement through the reversal PD array after the respect of the continuation PD array. And I took this trade too. 1 second. Let me find it. And join this server if you're not in it yet. It's in the link. It's in the description. Fuck. Did I not send it in? here. So this was the second OT of the day, because you can see here the initial displacement move or the rebalance displacement after the retracement into a PD array, which is what we have right there. Look at this, bang, bang. Oops, this guy lost. But look at the OTE. Look at this, beautiful, such a good trade. That's the displacement candle entry I was talking about. But if you missed that, like these guys took it. But like, the thing is, it's just a matter of waiting and seeing what we're doing in PD arrays. The way I look at it, yeah, is that checklist that I showed before. You either enter off of the initial displacement after the retracement, or the displacement after the my brain just blanked. You either enter off of the initial displacement after manipulation, or the displacement after the retracement into a PD array. We have this entry here, which is the initial displacement, and then here we have the retracement into the PD array, and we have a huge sell side that we left behind here. Why would price come down here, have this little tiny rebalance into no PD array just to dump? It doesn't make sense. So you chuck this on here, you can target the low, you can target a 1-to-1. This low is near guaranteed. Your stop loss above the rebalance and targeting the low hanging fruit. One candle, and realize that these very, very good high probability trades, look at them, they just smack in 1 to 2 to 3 candles. But yeah, it's just very important to keep in your mind the importance of understanding where we are in price and what is price telling me, and also understanding market structure. Everybody knows that we do this. It's about spotting it. Everyone knows. This is the first thing you learn when you come into trading. You will learn what's a trend, what's an uptrend, what's a downtrend. So to enter something like this, okay, this is a huge imbalance we left behind. To enter something like this, wait, I've done that, I drew that wrong. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so we know that the market moves in trends. To enter something like this is retarded, because you can see here we have this huge CB left behind and there's all wicks here, yeah? So there's no PD arrays here. So I'm trying to draw this example exactly. These are all wicks, okay? So there's no PD array. Sure, it's a rebalance, but then what happens when we hit the first draw, which should be your TP? Boom, we stop moving. We use the draw to manipulate, to rebalance, to go lower. So we're stopping out all of these people that are shorting this low because they're just pattern trading. And then you can also take the longs up to the rebalance over here like that. So to enter something like this is just retarded and idiotic. But to spot this out and enter here is perfect, because we have the rebalance. You have to wait for the real proper rebalance. Like, this is what we do. We don't do this. Like, that's just not what happens. You can see here, for example, because over here, why this worked and this didn't is because look at where we are in the range. This is in the middle. It's not at the ultimate bottom. This here is at the ultimate bottom. This here is in the middle, and there's draws here that need to be taken out. You know what I'm trying to say? But you see here, we're 12 points away from the first draw, and we have this huge sell side left behind. We're probably going to rebalance into it. And that's why this here, narrative wise, is just wrong. Go over here. Looking at this day, why is this valid? It's not in the ultimate bottom of the range, and we already have the rebalance into the PD array. On NQ we don't. We have the S&T, but on ES we did come into the sell side and we took out this high. So that's an S&T within the CB. You know, you've got to differentiate where we are in price, what market profile are we in, what sequence are we in, and this is all very important to look at. But yeah, I just spent 30 minutes speaking about 2 trades, which is kind of overkill. But if you watch through all of this, and good on you, I guess. It's pretty impressive to watch through half an hour of me just yapping about 2 trades. But yeah, honestly, I'm just making this because it's a weekend and I have nothing to do. So if this helps you, I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know your thoughts in the comments.